Hello and welcome to Blog Tornado. How are you? And today we're gonna go over a question that pretty much brought you here, or you end up on YouTube searching for UFOs, or you end up on Facebook, okay, in these UFO groups. And happened to me as well, because I have witnessed something that I can't explain up until now, but I've seen this phenomena circulating on YouTube, and it's a similar to what I've seen, and I wasn't so sure at that time what orbs were, and now that I see the footage popping up everywhere on YouTube, as far as this orange glowing lights in the sky goes, I'm that much more of a believer. Okay, so that's the reason perhaps why you're here searching for truth, because half the time, many times, matter of fact, there's nobody to turn to or talk about this, or your friends might not believe you, call you crazy, but eventually you'll end up searching for people who have witnessed the same thing, okay? Which is the reason why I created this channel, okay? Blog Tornado was created because of this UFO experience. So stay with me a little bit so we can understand why are we finding ourselves in these UFO groups on Facebook, etc., and searching for the truth on YouTube, okay? And we're starting right now. The funny thing is, and I can't stress enough how important this is, okay? Follow me here to understand what does this all mean at the end of the day. Well, as we speak right now, and I made a video before called "Did Bob Lazar See the Future?" Okay, now why that is so important? Because I know personally, in my own heart, I know for a fact in my own mind that extraterrestrial life, of course, does exist. Obviously, universe is vast, and to say the life does not exist out there would be naive. But let's just skip over that, the belief problem that most of us have, that some of us have. Right now as we speak, and I talked about this before, did Bob Lazar see the future? And I'm telling you, okay, this is the fact. He did see the future, because he was inside one of those Zeta Reticuli or whatever UFOs. He witnessed something that is out of this world. How special do you think Bob Lazar is because of this? Well, to my opinion, I don't think anybody or that many people has stepped inside a UFO. I mean, I can say for Barney and Betty Hill, or Kelvin Parker, Travis Walton, but it's very rare to be stepping inside the technology that's, who knows how far ahead of our evolution, okay? And that's the spirit right there. You have to understand that, how exciting this is. I mean, it's out of this world, This is not a movie you're watching. This is a real thing. But for some ironic reasons, Star Wars is bigger than Bob Lazar. But this man can say he was inside a UFO. Think about that. It's not a movie. It's not a made-up story. Or whatever you might think. But a lot of people agree that, Bob Lazar is telling at least 90% of truth. And I mean, there's a lot to decode about Bob Lazar, that poses certain questions. But he himself says at the end of one of the interviews, he says, you know what? Don't think about what happened to me or what I have seen, something along those lines. But he says, think about the future and what's out there in the universe. Where did these UFOs came from? The one he was in it. And possibility of this future that these extraterrestrials live in. What kind of technology that it's possible that we can actually see it with our own eyes. If we're lucky, if we're able to negotiate or somehow establish a connection that Stephen Greer is trying to do with this extraterrestrial interdimensional beings, it's important, okay? And that's the reason, again, I'm making this video, because to realize why are you here and why are you searching for the truth, okay? What's the point of all this? Well, the point is, again, that what extraterrestrials can offer us, okay? No president on this planet can do that. No one on this planet can offer us something what extraterrestrials beings could offer us. Okay? And that's why us UFO truth seekers in this UFO communities are one-of-a-kind people for that particular reason, because we're interested in this technology, and it's all about that. It's nothing more than what these extraterrestrials can offer us in terms of technological advancement. And that can certainly bring our own world, our own level of technology much higher, which I did talk about this. If Bob Lazar, stay with me, if Bob Lazar's UFO, 9 UFOs, it's a fact, it's an authentic story, then something abnormal must have happened as far as technology is concerned. And I do talk about this so much because, I'm sure anybody else who doesn't have their hands on this technology will be very concerned about what these people who possess these 9 UFOs, what kind of technology they have in their hands that can bring US military on a completely different level of things, okay? I'm sure they would think twice about who they would engage in war with, perhaps. I'm just saying, because of this 9 UFOs. If you think the story is authentic, then you must understand what they have in their hands, okay? Makes sense? So that's the question. It's all about technology and what the Zetas supposedly left behind to S4 that Bob Lazar talked about. Okay, 9 UFOs, and I'm not talking 1, 2, 3, 4, but 9. Which here at Block Tornado is a little bit of a question, because it's an unusual number, and I think I have a little bit of an answer to that, which I might talk about some other time. Or, if you want to find me on Facebook, Alien Warriors, it's Mark Orbs, okay? And if you're a truth seeker, and I'm actually organizing a group of people that, are really interested in searching for the extraterrestrial truth, okay? And it's called Formation of the Stars, okay? But however, I will personally pick few individuals as I can see you in a face group. If you're interested in UFOs, I would definitely like to ask you to join me there. But however, for now, we'll just leave it at that. But I encourage you to check out Alien Warriors, okay, on Facebook. So this technology and this worlds and this planet and this cities with extraterrestrial life in them, How modern are they? It's very difficult to understand. So modern, as a matter of fact, that we might not even, enjoy it because it's too advanced. We just don't understand it, okay? I mean, that's like you showing an iPod to a cat. And that's understandable because, not everybody was created at the same exact time. Because perhaps a lot of these rocks that were flying across the universe, it took time to kind of hit a habitable planet. But who knows how long that took, and some of these extraterrestrials or these life forms, a similar genetic code to ourselves, 2 legs, 2 feet, 2 arms, 2 eyes, landed on some planet that's habitable way before us. How long before us is the question here. This evolutionary gap does mean a lot of things for us. But with this technology, we can sort of roughly estimate that Bob Lazar talked about, this 9 UFOs that he was in. We can roughly estimate perhaps, how old this technology could be, how much more advanced. Where in line do we stand as far as the rest of the universe goes? And who knows, we could be just a little part of this infinity. Infinity means it never ends, if that's the back engine of the universe, okay? What does that mean? Well, that simply means that, there is no space and time and where and here and there. It doesn't even matter where we are. We could be just obviously be in some part of space that looks big to us, but again, if you connect it to the infinity, if that's the backbone, if that's the ground we're standing on, then the size doesn't really matter anymore. So what's the point to even measure the distance, or to begin to think where we are in space and how big is the universe? It just doesn't matter if, again, the infinity is our engine, our God. So, but again, going back to this point, okay, stay with me just a little bit longer to get to this, why are you in these groups? And this is as I explained to you, why. Because simply, what could these extraterrestrial life forms offer us, okay? And like I said, Stephen Greer is already doing that, trying to establish the connection between these interdimensional beings. And as a matter of fact, he even has the photographs to prove it, of some interesting being that he named him, and does look like a footage of something, a photograph of some sort of being, okay? So that's what we're trying to do. Seek the truth out, and the fact that we already know that Zetas were at S4, which Bob Lazar told on his website about. I mean, what's going on, people? The 9 UFOs that are still in possession of US military hidden from us. I mean, all of this is just crazy stories, Who's to say that these people haven't gone to another planets already because of this technology? And, with the help of extraterrestrials, Zeta Reticulans, to be exact, the Greys. And that is a very interesting point. But not just that. I mean, you have two people that came out of New Hampshire, right? One of the biggest widely publicized alien abduction stories of Barney and Betty Hill in 1961, and they connect with Bob Lazar. Why does this name keep popping out? Zeta Reticulans. And that's the thing about Betty Hill and Barney Hill, that if they're telling us the truth, then what the heck is going on here? Are we living in some sort of silence? And as a matter of fact, you might want to check out Silence is the Truth, okay? The video I created, and I talk about this, that Perhaps we're being kept in silence throughout history. I mean, the government just doesn't want us to know about these things, okay? It's all about greed, okay? They want to know about that. They want to have those 9 UFOs. And once they find out about them, of course, they're going to try to cover it up as much as possible. As a matter of fact, I think that Skinny Bob footage was created for a particular reason. Because to hide the identity of those Zeta Reticulans. And why would I say that? Because Betty Hill describes them completely different what Skinny Bob looks like. But yet, they still mention Zeta Reticuline, Ivan 0135 channel, and Skinny Bob. They still talk about Zeta Reticuline, but they don't look similar according to Betty Hill. And they even ask her in the interview, think about this, come on man, stay with me here. The interviewer particularly asks her, do they look like something like those gray aliens? And even before he finished asking the question, she's already laughing and saying, no, they don't look like that. They look like, they have a sort of similar features, somewhat like human beings, except no ears and bigger eyes, but not like the grays, like Skinny Bob footage. So who created this Skinny Bob footage to say they look completely different Zeta Reticulans than the ones from Betty Hill describes? I mean, she made them out of clay with her own hands. She remembers how they look like. But they don't look like Skinny Bob, and that's the cause for concern. Did they try to cover it up, to hide the identities of these extraterrestrials, to confuse people? They don't want us to know, trust me. They pack those bags at Popos Lake, pack their bags, take the UFOs, and hid them God knows where. And the question is Bob Lazar actually telling us the truth on the end of the day? So we don't go beating around the bush thinking there was actually something when there was nothing. Okay? But definitely something happened. I'm not saying nothing happened. Of course something happened. He's been repeating this story like a broken record for years now. And if anybody is talking like this for hours, there has to be something there, right? And he never changed his story. There's no episode 1, episode 2 like Star Wars, okay? His story is always the same, which is important. Because if he was to change the story, that would be a different situation. Then you might think it might not be authentic. But what really happened, that's a totally different ball game, and I have my own questions that I pose, because specifically of some footage that was shown during his interview while he was saying what happened to him at S4. This black and white footage of this, what looks like a prop of some sort, UFO prop perhaps, I'm not sure, but to me it looks like a prop. And where the heck did they get that footage? Where did it come from? It's so silly that he's talking about his story of what happened at S4, and at the same time in the background in this interview they're showing this black and white footage of this man-made UFO. And the question is, was it man-made? Well, it has tires on, okay, 3 tires, like you would from an aeroplane, the front tires. So, and you see the scientists around it with a ladder going up inside the UFO. Was he inside that UFO? That very footage that we see is the question. And I actually posed that in Alien Warriors, if you want to check it out. And that's the whole spiel. And you're wondering, why would I say that? Well, because maybe he doesn't want to admit that he was inside a UFO prototype, and he realized that he was. And he wants to make us believe, and the S4 at the same time, that he didn't pick up on that, and that he wasn't inside the prototype. And he doesn't want to admit that he was. Why he doesn't want to admit? Simple. For the attention. I mean, he told it to the TV station, and he got popular of it. He became a UFO rock star because of this situation. So why tell the truth? Because you're just gonna lose the credibility, and people will laugh at you. But if he admit this now, he definitely might be threatened, okay? Because now he's gone too far, and there's no way to turn back, and he might have regretted. So what's inside a prototype that we see in that footage is the question. But let's get back on track. Regardless if he's telling us the truth, regardless if Billy Meyer is telling the truth, Barney Betty Hill, Calvin Parker, Travis Walton, it does not matter. We all know the fact that there is life out there in the universe, and how much more advanced is it? I mean, I've seen orbs with my own eyes. We don't have to go through this. You don't have to decode this. It's a fact. You can see it all over the YouTube lately. And really, you know, what are they? And if that doesn't turn our reality upside down, then I don't know what does. That's our clue out there that we're not alone. And they know that. The ETs. They're telling us that there's something out there. Or, who knows, even in the ground. We don't know. But anyways, that's the question, that if we establish this connection somehow that Stephen Greer is trying to accomplish, that would be great. That would be phenomenal. Okay, we can finally take off to another worlds if we're able to, establish communication. Who knows? They might take us to their planet, and we can finally see what's out there. We can finally leave the house. Okay, we've been here for too long. It's about time that Elvis left the building, right? And I believe something like this is coming down the road, and that's why, which I talked about before, you might want to check out Billy Meyer and the Invisible Wire. And I talk about this, why certain people in our societies are influencing us, the rest of the public, the rest of the world, purposely to get us prepared for something that's going to come down the road, that is going to become a reality of some sort that we see in Star Trek or Star Wars, okay? Extraterrestrials, beings from another planets. So that is the question. And Billy Meyer and the Invisible Wire. Were we programmed genetically somehow, some of us, by extraterrestrials to do purposely just that, such as even Steven Spielberg or George Lucas, Scott Ridley, right? Gene Roddenberry, all these people are influencing us, getting us ready to swallow this truth about extraterrestrials easier than as if they would never make any movies at all about extraterrestrials. Would be a lot more, would be very difficult to swallow, would be extremely shocking to us. And the question is, are they programmed to do that? Of course, without knowing that. And it just seems natural to us, normal to us, these movies and so forth. But everything has a reason. You have to think about that. They're not just doing it for no reason. And that could be the reason, okay, to influence us, to get us ready for the close encounter of the third, fourth, fifth kind, whatever, okay? But the question still remains here, what can extraterrestrial do for us? And as I told you, that's the reason why we're here, because it's about time, perhaps, that we communicate with extraterrestrials, and eventually they might take us to their planets, and we can finally see the technology and things that we can only see in movies, okay? And that's the interesting part. I mean, there's nothing more exciting than travel to another planet and to see these vast cities made by extraterrestrials, and to learn, to understand. It's a magic, it's pure fantasy coming to life. And that's what extraterrestrials probably mean to us, okay? And that's pretty much what I want to talk about. And again, quickly, let's jump back to the reality of things and keep all those victims of coronavirus in our hearts, in our thoughts. Pray for them, for those who've been infected by this virus, that they recuperate, as you already know, a lot of people do, And that's what we're praying for. And of course, keep all those victims of coronavirus in our hearts that are no longer with us. And speaking about alien technology, hopefully we will find the vaccine very soon. And of course, as you already know, a lot of progress has been made, and the scientists are working tirelessly 24 hours a day, 48 hours a week consistently, and trying to, get to the bottom of this solution to this problem. And hopefully we'll get this vaccine very soon, so we can once again enjoy, so we can once again enjoy, so we can once again join the, so we can once again enjoy the beautiful weather outside without any worries being infected by coronavirus. Okay, so God bless, and come back to see what's going on here at Block Tornado. And as I always say, keep your eyes in the sky in case you see a UFO fly by. Cheers. God bless.